And I was so close with Taylor. So to me, I was like, Taylor would never do that. Like, she just never do that. And people would say stuff, and I would always defend Taylor and be like, there's no way. Like, don't even say that about my friend. Like, and don't disrespect my other friend, you know, kind of deal. Um, so yeah, but when it came to fruition, and then there's a scene where I'm not, that you guys don't see, like right in the beginning when I go to see Taylor, and she said something, and I said, but you don't find Austen attractive. Like, because she was talking about something and I don't remember. And then she goes, well, like for a blip of time, I did. And that hit me like a ton of bricks.
I want to gab. All right, today we're gabbing with Leva Bonaparte, star of both Southern Charm and Southern Hospitality. Leva's in her third season of Southern Charm and has proven herself to be a necessary, calming, and level force within our favorite Charleston fan group. And on Southern Hospitality, season 2 of which premieres on December 7th, she is the head honcho, attempting to guide her fun but messy employees while also making sure they are still doing their jobs. Leva, I always love chatting with you, and thanks for being here. How are you?
For sure. I love chatting with you. I saw the name and I was like, N.
Yay, love it.
Yeah.
How are you doing now that we're so deep
I'm
into this
good. I'm
season?
good. I always say, my husband was asking me the other day, he's like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, a little less, a little less on my plate.
Yeah,
I'd like for Christmas. Yeah. So it's been like a busy few years. When you said third season of Southern Charm, I was like, it didn't even register for me because it literally feels like I just started doing that. Like it doesn't, I'm like, oh, it's been 3 years. No wonder I'm
yeah,
like tired. And second season of Soho.
yeah,
So a little tired, but blessed, too
yeah.
blessed to be stressed, you know. So
Totally. No, I'm gonna say right off the bat, I feel like Southern Charm is having a truly great season. I think it's its best in a while. Not that the past ones haven't been good, but this is, I think, taking it back to a kind of a really high level. And do you
yeah.
feel like there's like kind of an extra level of excitement and investment from viewers this year?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, I mean, let's also kudos to the crew. We had a new
Totally.
showrunner. He's amazing. Thomas is amazing. And so I think we just need a little new energy in that, in the production space of it. And then also like the group authentically hangs out and authentically likes and dislikes each other. Like it's just very like I'm avoiding this person on King
Right.
Street. You're avoiding that. Like it'll literally be the text like I'll meet you here like so and so's not in town, right? You know what I mean? Like so it's very I think it took some time for everyone to feel really like a trust with
Hmm.
production to be as honest as we want it to be and then you know, it's just like any friend group. There's like some weird years. And
Yeah.
then you start to like kind of gel in good and bad ways. And so you guys get all of that. And honestly, it was a really rough year, but I do commend everyone because everyone's really honest and no one's trying, you know, in reality TV, let's keep it real. There's always a few people that are like, that's untouchable for me. That's
Right.
like, you know, they kind of do this like weird persona thing and that can bleed into the cast. But like everyone this year was just very well aware of like, we're mentioning it all. We're saying everything.
Love it.
This is what
Yeah,
we're
and
doing.
I think that viewers see through that artifice if people are trying to put that on, and so I think that's really important.
Yes.
Who you said people are avoiding each other on King. Who are you avoiding on King Street?
I'm actually like not in the worst space, to be honest. I'm
Okay,
kind of like okay, but I'm sort of like the wrangler of the avoiders. I'm like, don't worry. I know so and so's at this, you know, like even within my spaces, I'm like, I know so and so is down the street. So like you'll be fine if you meet me up the street. But there's yeah, a lot of that. I mean,
yeah,
obviously I'm pretty good with the boys. Sometimes like Austen can like get on my
of
nerve
course.
because I'm upset that like two of my girls are not getting along. And, you know, of course,
Hmm.
I'm just going to be like, it's your fault, Austin.
Yeah, yeah,
It all was what it was. It's not one person's fault at all, but
yeah. I agree with that. So, and I feel like you have been really integral in bringing this new kind of new-ish era of the show to fruition because I just feel like you, in addition to just being so fun to watch and you make me laugh and I love your kind of dry sense of humor, I also see you just as being a really important connector and somebody who like people really feel comfortable opening up to in a genuine way and you bring people together. Do you agree with that as being sort of like your kind of your role in this group of just being somebody who can bring people together maybe against all odds sometimes?
yeah, I mean, I do think. I definitely do think I'm like the bridge between the old and the new a little bit because,
Yeah.
the Vanita and the Olivia of it all, like that's all sort of was like my reach out, right? And also I just think the guys are definitely like Shep is my age, we're ancient, so to speak, in
No.
Southern Charm world, right? Not
Right.
in the real world, but in Southern Charm world. But like I think that there's just a different level for me because I'm married, I'm settled down. Like it's just Shep is always going to be that, I like to call him like a traveling like golden retriever. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have
Yeah.
to be like, okay, he's hangry or he needs to go in the kennel or sometimes he's the sweetest thing ever. You know what I mean? Like you can't, it's hard to stay mad at Shep ever. He is a lovable guy, but he just gets in his own way sometimes. Just like a golden retriever doesn't
Yeah.
know it's so big and it's like jumping on you and it
Yeah.
like
Gets ahead of itself. Right.
yeah, it gets ahead of yeah, yeah. So definitely different stages at the 40s, right? So yeah, I think I can definitely keep a certain level of like, okay, even last night I
Yeah.
was texting with one of the cast and she's really upset about something, and I was like, it's all gonna be okay. I think that like when the episode airs, so I think everyone is just needs a little like a little mom energy or whatever.
Do you ever get tired of having to like be that person for people, or like, or do you like kind of or do you feel like it kind of gives you something to be able to give people that support?
I mean, I like it. I sometimes
Yeah.
get a bad rap for it. It's like I'm
Yeah.
really not trying to stick my nose into people's business and I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but we are doing a show
Right. Of
and
course.
you come to me. So what am I supposed to be like, leave me alone? And I think I do have like wise words, but I always say like I
Yes.
advise to my demise. Like my poor sisters, I will be like, you should do this and you should, I'm a bossy girl. Like that's just
Well,
who I
that's
am.
where you are. That's how you are where you are in life. Like you
Yeah.
know that
Yeah. Like
you have to be a boss bitch.
for the
Right.
good or the bad, I am a bossy person and I'm a bossy girl. And anyone who knows that they're my friend, I literally give them the eye. Like they're like, you're gonna tell me what to do. And I'm like, I am. But I always like parlay it with like, but you can ignore me, but you know that like I'm not gonna sleep well at night. And if I don't tell you, then I'm gonna send all these weird texts and then I'm gonna get awkward. So I have
So
to
just
just
do
say
it.
it.
Right.
Just do
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Um,
Yeah, totally. No, and obviously this season has hinged a lot on the unraveling of the situation between Austen and Taylor, and then
yeah.
Olivia and Shep, and just how this all kind of intermingles with one another. And
Yeah.
when the details were trickling out, what was truly going through your mind? Like, was there a
Well, I
point
mean,
before everything came out where you were like, okay, there's more to this story, or like what was really going through your head at
so
that
over
time?
the summer, context, I did not, I was hearing that, Taylor's spending the night at Austin's. And I kept being like, no. And this generation, they're all like cool girls. Like I was like, Olivia's cool girl. Like me, it's like if my friend was spending the night at my ex-boyfriend's house, like I would be dragging her down the highway. Like that's a different generation. Like we're not gonna be cool. We're not going on vacation together. We're not like we have
Hmm.
very black and white boundaries, right? But I'm always like, they're just so cool and chill, and the exes hang out, and it's just like none of it makes sense to me. So that's when I feel older, where I'm like, okay, I texted Olivia. I was like, I'm kind of hearing these rumblings. And she's like, yeah, the after party, she's probably like crashing there, kind
Mm.
of. Okay. But it was like, I was hearing a bit more than that. But I was like, okay, okay. I'm not going to like put my like psycho jealousy into this. I'm going to,
If Olivia's not going to kind of pursue those
yeah,
details, then
then I'm
maybe
going
you
to
don't
leave
need
it.
to. Right.
Yeah. Which I'm sure had I told her like a lot more and had she, because I think it was just so like, there would be no way the two of
Right.
them. I know the viewer reunion was like, oh, Austin, but like Austin crying, like, he had a moment. Like nobody really, because we're friends with them, we didn't think that much of it. Um, but I think the viewer, or maybe we just were blind to what is. I don't know. And the viewer could
Mm.
see. It's like, I don't know which one it is.
Hmm.
And I was so close with Taylor. So to me, I was like, Taylor would never do that. Like, she just never do that. And people would say stuff, and I would always defend Taylor and be like, there's no way. Like, don't even say that about my friend. Like, and
Mm.
don't disrespect my other friend, kind of deal. Um, so yeah, but when it came to fruition, and then there's a scene where I'm not, that you guys don't see, like right in the beginning when I go to see Taylor, and she said something, and I said, but you don't find Austen attractive. Like, cause she was talking about something and I don't remember. And then she goes, well, like for a blip of time, I did.
Ah.
And that hit me like a ton of bricks because I was like, wait, because she kept talking about him as her brother. And then she said, for a blip of time, I did. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, so I like don't like my brother. Like, I'm not attracted to my brother for a blip of time. Like, that's just weird. So it just like, it was weird to me.
Yeah.
And
And
it
that's a change in how she was talking about him too.
ever. She'd never said something like that. And I was like, what's a blip in time? And she kind of just like glazed over it. She's like, it's just like a blip in time. What is a blip in time? Like,
What is
so
it?
I had to sort of like be cool, but that's in the moment I was like, there's more to this.
The
There's
radar
something.
was going off at that point. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And it's interesting because at BravoCon, I went to your guys' panel, and it felt like watching Taylor that she wasn't fully there. Like it kind of felt like not that she was a total shell of herself, but there was something like there was a spark that had gone out, I think, just seeing her kind of at
Yeah.
various points of BravoCon. And it was
Yeah.
kind of like maybe a little sad to see it. And
Yes.
you're obviously close with Taylor and Olivia, so you're obviously kind of there's probably push and pull there. But do you feel like she is kind of taking the brunt of the punishment, or do you think the punishment matches the crime? Or like
Yes.
how are you thinking of that?
I think she's taking more of the brunt of the punishment. She was from the beginning than Austen is. And if
Hmm.
you saw my face at panel, when Austen turned around and kind of like turned it on her again, I don't know if
Right.
you saw my face, but I was like, I might have had whiplash. Like, Taylor, are you going to take this or we need to take this? Because I was just annoyed. Like, you both did something that's wrong, but Austen, this is the way Austen moves that annoys me. That I'm just like, really? You're gonna this whole time she's also been like, I initiated. She was almost like protecting him the whole
Right.
time. And I was like, I literally looked at her, I was like, do you see who your friend? Like, do you see that he is no one's friend? Like, he is only his own friend. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And Austin's a great guy, but like when it's his feet are to the fire, it's just for Austen. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
that's the part where I never get along with Austen because I'm big on like, if you're going down, we're going down. If you know what I mean? Like, I'm just really big on loyalty and like accuracy. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big thing for me. And so when people do that, I'm like, all right, that just felt icky, like on the inside. And I looked at her and she was like welding up with tears. And I was like, the thing with Taylor is I think she took a lot of advice from Austen,
Hmm.
followed Austen's lead, but she is not capable of like being the way Austen is. She's just not as cutthroat and like
He's not as built
she
for
didn't know
this
who
kind
she
of
was in the
right.
sandbox with. Like,
Totally. Yeah. And
she totally did not know who she was playing this game with. And now she's going to see the same way Olivia saw a new side of Austen last year at
hmm
reunion. I was like,
hmm
you could
yeah,
see Olivia like in the
kind of shut
reunion.
down.
It was like she broke. It was like the
Right.
soul of that person left. And you'll see that a lot in reality TV because a lot of people can like put up this front and then you see the real thing and you're like,
Right.
oh my God,
Yeah.
who are you? Because when you're sort of being interrogated, so to speak, your true colors come out. And
Hmm.
I think on that panel, it's the same thing Olivia saw at reunion, Taylor saw with Austen.
Right.
Like,
And I think that like so in your mind, your Austin's been sort of like hanging Taylor out to dry a little bit.
yes,
Like right. And
yes,
I sort of felt like he because at BravoCon, like it's interesting to see the reception that certain people get. And I think that the guys on your cast get received really, really well at
yeah,
BravoCon. And I think you're just
yeah,
probably reading the room a little bit on that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And I think like at the end of the day, the guys, they're great TV and
Of
they're meant
course. Oh my God. There's
all
not taking
things,
that away from
right?
them. Right. But as on a
And
personal level, it's
and
probably
they're
difficult.
Yeah, and they're more seasoned. So like
Hmm.
when they do these things and people get online and say horrible things, they just like ignore it. Whereas like the girls are newer to this. So when people get online and like boo and like say horrible things, like we're still in that human stage where we're just not that like it still hurts our
The
feelings. And
armor isn't there.
yeah, like these guys have been doing it for like short of a decade. Like whereas the girls have been doing it for 2, 3 years. And we're
Hmm.
also females. So like things might hurt our feelings more. And we haven't like I hope I will never be that way, but like it's like there's a point of no return sometimes where you get too hard or too like
Right.
ego driven or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I
Yeah.
think that the guys are that, but like I also don't want to be that. So I
Hmm.
think for Taylor, it's like her first real
Yeah.
season.
Totally. And it's interesting you say that about Olivia, how she sort of noticed this thing in Austin and sort of probably changed how she was acting a little bit in response to that. And it's, obviously you two are close, and I think it's been really rewarding watching Olivia sort of lean into this experience. She had this really devastating 1-2 punch of like losing her brother while also dealing with this sort of personal turmoil with Taylor and Austen. And,
Yeah.
it was, I as a viewer, it just seems like it was sort of this moment of clarity for her where she could like step into her power and embrace her emotion. And it's been really powerful, I think, to watch that.
Yeah.
What's it been like being at her side for that, and sort of, again, be really embraced by viewers, I think, in a way that she wasn't last year?
Well, I mean, I'm happy to see it because Olivia was cast onto the show as a friend of mine and like,
Hmm.
not as Austen's girlfriend,
Right.
right? It's just Austen swooped in
Right.
for a bunch of different reasons, right? So I, the entire time, was so frustrated because I was like, don't be Austen's girlfriend, be you. Like, you're smart, you're charming, because I know her in that way. And she's very strong. She's not like a wallflower and she's not like just an
No.
add-on. And I kept, telling her, I was like, I just don't want you to be perceived as just Austen's girlfriend. That's not how you got cast on the show. That's not who you are. They really didn't show like me and Olivia's history. You know what I mean? It was just more her and Austen. And so it kind of looked like she came in as that. But she's a really amazing, funny,
I love
strong,
her. Right.
yeah, like she's sharp, but she's very wise.
Hmm.
And maybe that's because like we're both Tauruses, so like we kind of think alike. So
Sure.
I can like with the eyes, I'm like, I know, I got you. I know what's going on. Like
Yeah.
we think similarly. We're also like really loyal, but also like if I don't F with you, then don't even try to have me. Like we're done. Like you
Sure.
want to play, let's play, kind of deal. So in that sense, it was really nice to see her, you know, um, and I always tell her, I'm like, you don't need anybody on because in reality TV, people like to have like teams and sides and whatever. Olivia doesn't need a team.
I agree.
Like I
No.
always say, like, Olivia, because I always say, I'm not afraid to eat alone. And I was like, Olivia, you're not afraid to eat alone. You got
Hmm.
this. Even though like I don't think you have anything that you need to eat alone for. You have very legitimate reasons to feel the way you feel. But no,
but
she's
but there
no.
but there's something attract I think there's something that attracts people to that sort of, energy of like independence and like doesn't take any
Totally.
shit, and you guys both
Yeah.
have that. Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our delivery is definitely like, Madison is totally like that too. Her delivery is
Yes. Oh
just
my
so
God.
different,
Yeah.
but,
You
I
guys are
love
good
her
at it.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, my delivery is different. Olivia's, I think, would be more similar to mine. But yeah, she takes no shit too. Like
Hmm.
you saw at the panel when she was like,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
what's
it was really cool. I think seeing certain moments where like certain people come alive, and it's like, it's I think that some people, I don't know, it's just cool watching the evolution, I think, of people as this journey kind of continues.
yeah.
Leva, I'm curious, like, as you've sort of watched this season back, is there anything that you've taken note of or learned from watching other people's interactions or scenes? Like, I think about the boys' trip that Olivia and Taylor went on. Like, that was really a wild episode, and you were
Yeah.
not there for
Yeah.
that in person.
Yeah.
What was it? What are certain things that have sort of stood out to you just watching maybe other people's moments?
I mean, I guess like the only part that for me sometimes I love watching is just like watching why we're friends.
Right.
Like that there is a part of us that is like silly. I always get sad that no one ever gets to see that side of me
Mm.
because I'm sort of always just like, in this space of like making
Right.
like therapy and making sure everyone like gets along. So no one really gets to see like my silly side. But there's a reason we're all friends. Like there's a reason we can all laugh together and have a good time and get past stuff. And at the end of the day, yeah, some people have done some pretty crappy things, but I genuinely don't think anybody there is like the devil or like really malicious. I think people just made poor decisions. And I think sometimes show bleeds into reality, a
Right.
little bit of like, well, this is a storyline. Well, this is this. And some of us, I maneuver probably in the wrong way of a reality TV person. Like I would be like off camera, like, hey, this happened, and producer would hate me because I wouldn't want to bombard a friend on camera, right? So, and there's but our job is to keep everything very, very real. And that's hard. And that part of it would be hard for me if I was in that kind of a predicament. So I
Right.
do commend them
Yes.
keeping it TV, because I'm not sure I could. I think I'd have to do it like off camera and get in trouble.
But I think because you are like that, again, like I think we mentioned earlier, it's like that's why people can open up to you and feel like they can trust you and they can trust you. I think there's merits to both, you know, to operating both ways.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm glad you guys saw the boys trip. I mean, obviously that would have, you know, I always hate not being there for the fun stuff, but it is why everyone's friends. And also like some of us have been friends for like over a decade. Like it's not, I don't know if a lot of shows really necessarily have that. You know what I mean?
The relationships are ingrained. I mean, you've been a guest on the show since the very beginning. So it's like you've always been a familiar face. Is there any, you know, at the panel it seemed you mentioned this moment where Austen sort of turned around and I think it seemed like the cast was really trying to keep it together and not go there on some of that stuff. But then I think
we were told this is not a reunion.
And I think a fan question kind of opened that up for like a second. It seemed like there's a lot that everyone wants to get off their chest when it comes to this upcoming reunion. I'm sure you know way more than we all know. And you're not going to tell me, but like, what can you tease us for like what you think is going to come out at that reunion, and like whether things will be changed up a lot, or do you think we'll see kind of some resolution happen? What are your...
I think it's important to see. I think the thing I'm most interested to see is who people really are. Because when this stuff happens is when you really see like who people really are. Are they really gonna take accountability? Are they really gonna then go dirty? Are they not? You know what I mean? Like, I think that will be, for me, I think I will walk away from the reunion going, am I going to be friends with this person or am I not? You know what I mean? Like, because I'm interested to see how that's going to go, because thus far, and even like in real life, it doesn't feel like, no one's really gotten dirty, but it doesn't feel right. Like there's things where I'm like, I don't know if I like that you did that, you know?
Right. And the people have to answer for that. Right.
Yeah. Like, I think I might need to take distance from you as a friend or something. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see that. And then I know that there's just like a lot that wasn't brought up. Okay. So I think that there's going to be a lot of context, a lot of extra stuff.
It seems as that's the case.
That makes, you know, things change. And I think that right now, again, it's hard for me to see two friends going through this. I was really disappointed in Taylor, but also it's hard for me to see her so broken, because I also feel like she was sort of maybe following the lead of a person who's now just like dumped her to the side. And I don't think she's built to play. Like, I think she thought she was like, she entered the world of the big boys, and then she was like, I can't, I'm not made for the mob. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
Taylor, she dated into this friend group, and then she was single, and then Austen was sort of a life vote for her, you know, and that's, I mean, and then she's gone through her own stuff with her brother and it's all that. So
exactly.
I hope to see some sort of resolution there for sure. Before we sign off, Leva, I want to tee up Southern Hospitality season 2, because I'm an acolyte of that show. Just FYI, I loved season 1. I love the cast. I love the role that you play on that show. To me, the season 2 trailer, the season 2 trailer is like explosive and genuinely giving me some early Vanderpump Rules mess vibes. Is it really the leveling up that it seems to be in terms of reality TV and
I mean, it was a hard season even for me, you know, and I was thinking the show I'd be coasting. I'd be like, oh, it's gonna be the boss. Like, I get mad all the time. Some people won't like that, but who cares? No, it was even hard for me because it gets challenging when you have kids working for you for that long. It gets challenging when, you know, things really bleed into the business. So even filming this year, I was uncomfortable with things because I was like, oh, this was not what I intended it to be. Yeah. So it was really tough, but I think what you guys will start to see is like a whole other layer of people. You'll start to see how so much of this really does bleed into business. And like, I'm not doing this fake work for me. Like, it's not, which is why it makes it so hard and makes it really complicated. And people have all these opinions about it, but I'm like, I'm running a real business and they need to really show up for their shifts and they need to really listen to the rules. You know what I mean? So, you know, they're messy, like cringe messy, like cringe messy, where I'm like,
but we love to see it.
I remember being that young. And like,
I know you don't love to see it, but we love to see it. So.
Yeah, you guys love to see it, but I'm just like cringing.
Right.
I'm trying to be cool and like, you know, see my lane.
So funny.
But I think you guys will I think you'll laugh because
Yeah.
it's young and it's messy and you'll get to know a huge layer. And a lot of them had a really like, it's just like when you're growing up, like you have these
Hmm.
hard years and they're doing stuff for the first time, like their first big breakups, their first like moving in, moving out, the first like mess up at work. And, where do I really stand with this friend? With the stuff we've all been through.
Yeah, it's your 20s, you know,
Yeah. And somehow theirs is just so much bigger and more dramatic.
and on camera, right?
Yeah, and on camera. So I think,
Um,
yeah.
last question for you. Joe Bradley was in the audience at Watch What Happens Live with Danielle,
Yeah,
and
I
they seem to
heard.
confirm some sort of romance between them. What do you know about that?
I don't really like, so they don't really talk to me, but of course I ran into, one of the kids that works for me and she was like, did you hear about Bob? And I was thinking she was going to say Bradley because I was like, Bradley likes the girls. So, but I think Bradley the whole time I was giggling because I was like, all these housewives were like looking at Bradley and I was like, he ain't mine. Like you can have that. Like it was really funny. But yeah, I think they're hanging out. I think they're cute. Lindsay actually texted me. She's like, "What's the tea on Joe?" I'm like, "He's a good guy." It was really funny. She's like, "I need to find out for
Of
Danielle."
course she wants it, right? I
Yeah,
love it.
she was like, "I want to make sure she's good." I was like, "No, he's solid. He's a good guy, but like, I don't know that he's in a settling down space." Whereas I
Sure.
feel like Danielle might be more moving towards that direction in life. Whereas like
Well,
Joe's like, "She's
yeah,
hot. I'm in New
I'm
York."
down. Right. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
She
we'll have
does
a,
fit his she does fit his like thing though. Joe likes a girl that's a little older and he
uh-huh.
likes a girl that's really smart. So
And
like if you look at
Danielle's very
his
smart.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, like he
totally.
likes a smart kind of boss type, slightly older, even if it's not older, but like older energy kind of
Okay.
vibe. Not like
Yeah.
cougars, but like a
No, but like
little
a mature grown-up
a
energy. Yeah.
mature, hot, like
Yeah.
woman. Like he
Love
doesn't
that
like
for
the
him.
little 22-year-old girls. Like I've never
Right.
seen that part. Yeah. So.
Well, Eva, this has been so much fun, and I always appreciate your candor. I want to say good luck at the reunion, and also
Thank you.
I'm just so I've loved seeing you on TV since you really joined the show in a big capacity, but it's been so cool to
Oh,
watch your platform grow and your businesses even grow and expand.
thank
Like you're in such
you.
a great spot, and I'm just really
Thank
happy for you.
you. That's really, really kind. And congratulations on the podcast. And
Thank
like,
you.
I love
Thank you.
seeing everyone win. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So like
totally.
that
Same
makes
here.
me happy. Yeah.
Love it.
So
Well,
I'm
Leva,
glad I
we'll
did
talk
that.
again soon, and I can't wait for this season 2. All
Yes,
right.
yes. Thanks for having
Bye.
me.
Yeah. I want to gab.